Hi everyone, it's Lada from Astrology.com with your October 2016 horoscopes. And before I start, very quickly two announcements. Come and join me on the 15th of October, the month of love, the month of Libra, the month of relationships. I'm going to be doing a 3 to 4 hour webinar together with Trifon Nikolov on lovers and marriage. This will be a very special webinar. We're gonna talk about compatibility, but from a very different level. We're going to talk about the points of love, the points of eros, the points of attraction in the horoscope, with the points of marriage as well. This is information you won't find available around. This is very ancient information. It's based on the Egyptian or Hermetic, also called Arabic points of love, which is actually the real, how do I say, the top level. You don't even need to know any astrology, but this is the top level compatibility, that if you learn only those 4 or 5 points of love and relationships and marriage that exist in each horoscope and compare them with someone else's horoscope, this is all you need to know about compatibility basically. You'll be able to know whether someone can be your marriage spouse, lover, whether you can have chemistry or not. So those 3 or 4 hours will focus on that on the 15th of October. Come and join us just for $69. And also those of you who want to join me or who want to see after that a recording of my webinar, just $29 on stelliums. Stelliums, if you have 4 or more planets together close in your horoscope. These are pioneers, these are people with a very special mission in their life. And there is very little information out there on stelliums. And if you happen to be one of those people like me who has 4 or more planets together conjunct very close in their horoscope, within one area of their horoscope, we're going to talk about what your mission is. And we're going to talk how you can deal with that extra charge energy of the stelliums and how to approach such people. This is only $29, and I'm putting links for both of those webinars here. Sagittarius, October 2016. Let's see if I have some good news for you, Sagittarius. Well, of course, all the planets are moving direct. For the past 5-6 months, we've had at least 1 and sometimes 3 or 4 planets at the same time being retrograde. And here I'm talking about the important planets, the 5 visible planets: Saturn, Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus. You know, these are the ones that really impact the tangible and visible things in our life. And when they're moving direct, we also have the chance to move forward with new lessons rather than repeating old lessons or seeing the consequences of our actions or having to put extra efforts. Retrograde planets require extra efforts. But now all the planets are finally moving direct, so we can move to greener or newer pastures. And they can be also new beginnings in one's life. And exploring new vistas. And now let's see, the most important news is, I've already spoke about that, is that your planet that rules you, Sagittarius, will be in the 11th house from your moon, sun or ascendant in Sagittarius, in the 11th sign. But not only that, this month Jupiter is joined by Mercury and by the Sun, so there is like a great cosmic force that is triggering this 11th house of yours. And when they say, the ancient books say that when Mercury and Jupiter join together in a sign, they allow for manifestation on the material level, not just like an opportunity that doesn't develop, but like tangible, real results. And why is that? Because Jupiter is the planet of opportunities, is the higher mind. So some inspiration and opportunity comes through the higher mind. And Mercury is the lower mind, is the conscious mind, and we capture it with the conscious mind. And Mercury is a planet that organizes and manages, and we put it into action, organize it and manage it, so we make it manifest. So we have both Mercury and Jupiter in your 11th house of gains. Amazing, great, isn't it? So this can be quite a gainful month for you, Sagittarius, you know. And what is gains? Like, it's a very broad word. Let's look. The ancient, they knew gains can be financial, material gains. You can get a bonus, or you can do some important work that leads to a bonus, that leads to some kind of acknowledgement. The 11th house is recognition from peers and from others, recognition and awards for a job well done, for something that you worked very hard, seeing the results of that hard work. This is not gains that come to you without you having put efforts. 11th house is a house of fulfillment of wishes and goals that you've been working hard on, and that you've been following through, and that you've been working on for a while on. And that's why 11th house rules titles and honors. You know, basically getting a PhD or something like that. How do you get such a title and honor? By working your ass off. How do you get the bonus? Usually by working your ass off. You know, well, it's sometimes it's some other way, but when you get something which you haven't worked for, then it's under the influence of another house. It's more like a different house, you know, rather than the 11th house. So what does it mean? That in October, if you've been working hard on something, maybe being recognized, maybe receiving a praise from a boss, you can receive pat on the back. This can be the least thing that happens, you know. Maybe you want to promote a product, or you've been working on something creative or on some business, and now you present it to the audience, to the public, because the 11th house rules the opinions of others and the public, the audience, how it embraces something. And if an audience embraces something, you reward it. How you reward it? With acknowledgement, with recognition, with gains in some way. So for example, you might do, some people I've seen, they make an exhibition. The exhibition is really well accepted when the 11th house is joined, is aspected by those benefits. It's triggered by Jupiter and Mercury. Another person might for example, be working hard and receive a bonus or receive a recognition from an authority figure. Another person might have their own business, and this own business create opportunities for gainfulness in some way. Another person I've seen can, for example, take a step forward to fulfilling some dream of theirs or goal. Another person can get, say, the PhD in front of their name, or pass an exam. This is also connected, which is some kind of a gain again. And also the 11th house is considered support from authority figure. That comes like support, financial, the resources of authority figure or governments, because the 10th house is governments, people in authority, bosses, you know, the big bosses. And the 11th house is the second from the 10th, which means the second is resources of the previous house. So you can receive resources from the government somehow. If you apply, it can be good time. If you're Sagittarius ascendant, if you're trying to apply for something from the government, or if you're trying to apply for some stipend, is that what it's called? Like some grant or something like that. But again, it's not something that they'll just give you like that for your pretty blue eyes. They'll give it to you because you're deserving on some level. You know, the 10th house is the hard work we do. The 11th house is the consequences of that hard work, the resources that come from the hard work. The 10th house is our worldly duties and responsibilities that we fulfill, and the 11th house is the results of those. So if you've been, you know, this is a good time to apply for such grants, to apply for such stipends or whatever it's called, or some support from government or officials or boss figures of some sort as well. The 11th house, if you have your own business, is the income of your business. So, and the 11th house is also networks of people. And we have very strong activation with the Sun there, Sagittarius with Mercury. So this is like society, a social circle. So it's kind of, you can meet new people right now, especially in October. It's very active. New people that can be beneficial for you. New networks of group and people that can be mutually beneficial and gainful for each other. How can it be gainful? Emotionally, physically, materially, you know? Emotionally, can be a group of people that support you. It can be a person that supports you in the long run emotionally, someone you can call friend. The 11th house is the house of friendship. Someone like-minded. Or gainfully, you can meet, you can get invited somewhere, you can meet someone who can say, oh, I can connect you with that person, or you can say, oh, I have this idea, you work there, actually I know someone else, I'll connect you. So somehow this person becomes a benefactor, somehow it becomes like a network which you can use for more gainfulness. It can be material, it can be emotional, it can be to achieve some goal of yours. It doesn't have to be just money. It can be like someone connecting you and helping you come a step closer to some goal, long-term goal and wish you've had. And it can be something important that happens between you and your friendships, but especially something of a new nature, because I said all the planets are moving direct. There is no planets in retrograde. From the important planets, Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, you know. And because of that, the experiences that come to us, they're from a new nature. They're from it's not something that comes to you from the past that brings you opportunities. It's something, and gains. It's something that is kind of It's a new sphere, new energy. Okay, so that's one area. And so you might also be quite socially active currently this month. You know, in October, more ambitious. The 11th house is one of the houses of Saturn. Modern Western astrology says is Uranus, but Saturn, and it's about connecting, it's about networking, it's about bringing out to the public something. It's about being in the public. It's about that's why it's gainful and profitable. Who are the most profitable and gainful people? That's why 11th house. They're the ones with the most connections, isn't it? Like businessmen of big level, or people that know how to work with networks and complicated systems. Networks is the internet. Networks is the market. You know, this is the 11th house. It rules the markets. It's stock markets. It rules business connections and interconnections. So it's kind of who succeeds in Hollywood, the best connected as well. So I'm not saying, you know, but there's so many planets now, Jupiter, Mercury, and the Sun in your 11th house. I'm not saying you're gonna go and become millionaire now, or you're gonna go and meet Donald Trump and sort your future out, but you can meet just, you know, someone, a friend who says, oh, I can give you the number of this person, oh, I can put you in touch, or something, you know, that brings you a step closer to fulfilling one of those wishes and long-term goals. And this makes one more of a social climber as well, if you already have such indications. But definitely you're meeting more people, Sagittarius, especially Sagittarius ascendant people, people that can be beneficial, useful for you. You're making contacts, and you're maybe even making something that brings gains to you. You can become more popular as well to the public and create new friends. Okay, so let's see what else is happening. Venus, wherever Venus is, this is where we escape from the hustle and bustle to enjoy ourselves. Venus is the planet of pleasure and enjoyment, and currently it's going to be in your 12th house for a big part of October. I think till around 20th of October it's going to be in your 12th house, Sagittarius, which means when you want to get away from that busy crowd and social communications and social activity and this ambitious climbing drive that is triggered by the other 3 planets in your consciousness, you withdraw to the hidden house. Basically, the 12th house is you withdraw into home, into private space. You go for a massage, you go to spa, or you go get drunk. 12th house is escaping reality through addictions, and if you get drunk, you'll really enjoy it with Venus in the 12th house. So you escape, and you kind of give yourself some pleasure through hidden private pleasures. What does it mean? Like bed pleasures is ruled by the 12th house, especially when Venus is in the 12th house. Ancients say that this is better time one can experience bed pleasures than sensual pleasures of any sort. No, not sensual, but more like those private, intimate pleasures, because it's hidden, it's 12, it's in the privacy there. Okay, maybe indulge some secret pleasures that you don't put in the face of others, that you kind of are more private in your own. This is the way for you. And I'm not advocating any of those things which are negative, but that's a person gets more susceptible to those private indulgences when Venus is in the 12th house. More hidden loves, hidden romantic experiences, so just hidden ways of relaxing, more private ones. Okay, and then Mars is changing signs, Sagittarius, and Mars is going into your 2nd house. I know it's really tortured you, Mars, in the last few months. It was in the spring in your sign retrograde. For many Sagittarius, especially those born in November and the first 4 or 5 days of December, they felt the stress of Mars in their sign, and the later ones felt it maybe in August more. But the early born Sagittarius, or those with ascendant in the first 10-12 degrees, or those with the moon there, had it really rough. And Saturn being there as well, you've been tested, you know. And now Mars is finally moving out of your sign, Sagittarius. The last time it's in your sign is towards the end of September, and leaves you for many years. It's not gonna stress you. Mars is about fixing problems, about arguments, about like discipline, about willpower, about exerting lots of efforts and untangling problems. But Mars is leaving your sign, and in October it's moving into your 2nd house. So it's gonna make you solve financial problems now. But it's not gonna go retrograde. It's not gonna create big financial problems. It's just gonna, if there is something that's not good, you go fix it, you move forward, you know, fast. You don't go back and look at the consequence of those actions, and you have to, something that gets long drawn out. Again, I'll advise you not to spend crazy, because Mars can incline when it's in the second house for one to spend more, a bit more recklessly. But Mars is in Capricorn, so it's more in control there, you know. It's not Capricorn is not a sign where Mars goes really wild and cannot be controlled and goes out of, you know, of its boundaries. But still, you know, there might be some sudden expenses that come out to be prepared for. But as we said, your house of gainfulness is also triggered, so, you know, comes in, goes out. And Mars in the second can make your appetite stronger, because the second house is all the things we take in, and Mars is ravenous planet, is more desirous. So often the person can be more desirous of sensual pleasures and kind of almost grabbing them, you know, and good food and stuff like that. They can be tendency to kind of be a bit more rushed, a bit more you know, sorry, the sun is melting my mind there. But anyway, that's another way. But on a positive level, Mars can help you do some constructive changes, because Mars is action, Mars is problem-solving planet. You can do some constructive changes and problem-solving in regards to your finances, in regards to your material possessions as well, in regards to certain assets. So you'll be quite initiative in regards to material assets and financial matters over the next couple of months while Mars is in the second house. On the negative level, because Mars is a malefic, there might be some reckless decisions, but again, I think Mars manifests really well in Capricorn, so there might be certain bigger splurges and expenses that come up, because Mars is making some hard aspects to planets throughout October. But Mars continues to be there in November, so this tendency stays. Okay, or on another way, you can be more initiative in creating new sources of income. Mars is action, taking the initiative, going into, and this can be very productive because Mars is in Capricorn, productive, practical sign. So that's what I see for you, Sagittarius. I hope you enjoyed this prediction, and follow me on YouTube, subscribe to me, and follow me on Facebook. The name is Astrology, my page there. Like the page and check daily, because I do offer free competitions where you can win a reading with me or one of my amazing psychics and astrologers. And we do not only videos, but we do readings, tarot card readings, power hour with different psychics and astrologers and with me, where we answer questions for those of us who write to you. So anyway, thank you so much and enjoy October, and I'll see you in November.